to the EQ Video Tip. I'm your host, Eric Forsetter. As always, thanks for watching another episode of the EQ Video Tip. Before we jump in, let's review the goals of EQ Video Tip. What's on tap for today? Well, it's way past New Year's, but you still haven't followed up on your New Year's resolution. And today's tip comes from from Luciana Paulis, who talks about how to transform New Year's resolutions into your actual daily habits. Let's face it, New Year's happened, we were all excited, we said, hey, we're going to work out more, or I'm going to read a book every week, or something that I'm going to do, but we never instituted that as well. How do we get around that? What do we do to make sure that we actually do that? How can we actually achieve those goals and not be frustrated with ourselves that we can't do it? Here's some tips from Luciana that's going to help us to make sure that these daily efforts become effortless and become daily habits, as opposed to something that's weighing us down that we don't actually get our resolution done. Let's jump in and review those tips right now. Tip number 1, set your North Star. Set your why. Why are you doing these goals? And set clear goals for yourself. It's important to do that. What do you envision yourself being when you accomplish these goals? And can you connect all the goals to your purpose? If you can connect it to your why, it will help guide you and be your North Star for the year. So set your North Star as goal number 1. Tip number 2, one of my favorite tips. Start small and gradual. So for example, if you're going to work out every day, maybe set aside 15 minutes in the morning every day to do push-ups or sit-ups or something small. Or if you're going to be more productive, set that same 15 minutes aside for productivity to work on your most important tasks. It's important to start small, make it a habit so that it becomes a ritual every day, and then you can extend it to 30 minutes or an hour and fit it into your schedule. Remember, start small and gradual. Number 3, anchor habits to existing routines. For example, if you want to read more, maybe consider listening to an audiobook while you're driving to work or on your commute, or maybe it's on the train to work. You're going to set aside 15 minutes to read. If you consistently add something to your existing routine, it will make it easier for you to do it. Remember, make it part of something that you do that's more of a mundane task. Don't set aside time to read during a family dinner. That takes away from your time with your family. But anchor your habit to an existing routine that will make it more of a routine itself. Our next tip, make it easy. What do we mean by that? Figure out a startup time for when you want to start and end this routine, and the frequency. If you're going to work out, are you doing it every day, every other day? Or if you're reading a book, what times of the day are you going to do it? Think about also your circadian rhythm. When is the best time for you to do something? If it's reading, maybe it's in the morning. Maybe working out is later in the day. Whatever it is, think about that and add variety to it so that you're not doing the same thing over and over again. Maybe it's looking for different books, or again, in this case, maybe different ways or forms of exercise. And also think about the size of it. How long is it going to be? For example, if you're trying to cut down on screen time, maybe you don't have to go cold turkey day 1, but instead of watching 3 hours of TV or screen time, you knock it down to 2 or 2.5 and then slowly decrease it. Remember, think about the total picture when you're doing it and make it easy on yourself. Our last tip, be consistent. Consistency is the most important part of making a habit occur, and doing things like encouraging yourself afterwards is great too. If you miss one of these daily rituals or habits you're trying to do, don't berate yourself. Set aside the time the next day and do it. Remember, start small and become bigger with it. It's much easier to slowly build up and gradually get to it as opposed to putting it all on yourself in one day. Be consistent with it and realize, give yourself a break if you miss 1 or 2 times. That's a wrap for this week's EQ Video Tip. Hopefully these tips will help you grow as an individual and make you adhere to your New Year's resolutions and to new habits that you're trying to form to make yourself a better person. Remember, all the tips are customizable for yourself, so use them to your best of your ability to help grow your EQ.